So, starting with the First Amendment. The First Amendment lays out several very important liberties. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof. And it further protects freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom to associate, freedom of the press, and the right to peacefully petition the government. That's all laid out in the First Amendment. Now, that part about established religion, that is a rather contentious part of the First Amendment. The rest of it's pretty straightforward, but there's been a lot of debate over exactly what that means. And there are some who like to quote Thomas Jefferson, who once said separation of church and state. But I want you to note those exact words are not in the Constitution. It says that Congress can make no laws respecting an establishment of religion. Does that mean, however, that the state of Florida, for example, can make no laws respecting an establishment of religion? Well, I can tell you that the Supreme Court has never ruled anything like that. When the Supreme Court started ruling that states cannot respect established religion, they didn't do it based on the First Amendment. They actually did it based on the 14th Amendment and equal protection under the law. They argued that if the state props up one religion, they're not giving equality to other religions. So the First Amendment in of itself does not separate church and state. It only separates the U.S. Congress from church. Now, the Second Amendment is the one that deals with the right to bear arms. It says that, let me think if I can, something about the right to bear arms being necessary to a free state. I got it. A well-regulated militia being necessary to a free state, the right to keep and bear arms shall not be abridged. Some have interpreted that simply to mean that we all have the right to have guns as long as you don't shoot somebody. Others would say that only the military has the right to have guns. Some would say that that part about a free state means that this is a state issue, which means the states could regulate guns, but the federal government may not. I can tell you it's still not very clear, but the Supreme Court has ruled that at least handguns, the right to have handguns is protected. But they're still kind of battling that out, and between the courts and between laws and also even international treaties sometimes. But I don't want to go too deep into that now. Just note that the Second Amendment is the one that deals with the right to keep and bear arms. The Third and Fourth Amendment both deal with privacy rights. The Third Amendment guarantees you have the right not to have military troops quartered in your home except for during wartime. The Fourth Amendment is the protection from unreasonable search and seizures. What that means is that the authorities can't just search your house anytime they want. They have to have some kind of reason, some sort of probable cause. Amendments 1 through 4, those basically lay out individual liberties of honest, law-abiding citizens. 5 through 8, these amendments deal with the rights of those accused of a crime or perhaps even guilty of a crime. The Fifth Amendment has several important parts of it, one of which is you can't be made to testify against yourself in court. You can remain silent. If you say, I plead the Fifth, it means you're not going to answer the question. And pleading the Fifth is not admitting guilt. If the prosecution wants to prove you guilty, they have to find some other way. They can't say, well, he pled the Fifth, so we know he's guilty. They can't do that. The Fifth Amendment also protects you from double jeopardy. Once you've been tried and convicted once, you can't be tried and convicted again for the very same crime. Now, 6, 7, and 8 all deal with different aspects of the rights of the accused, such as the right to a trial by jury of your peers. And I can't remember whether it's 7 or 8, but we are also protected from cruel and unusual punishment. This one comes into play when we discuss the death penalty. There are some who argue that the death penalty is cruel and unusual punishment. I can tell you that killing someone in a very cruel and inhumane way would definitely constitute that, but the courts have upheld the rights of the states to administer the death penalty as long as they try to do it in a way that's relatively painless. Now, I will save 9 and 10 for the next part and explain more of the amendments.